All right, we're going to call the meeting of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners Wednesday, April 24th meeting to order at 6:12. I'm going to ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cavell. Here. Commissioner Erickson Galt. Here. Commissioner Gershenson. Here. Commissioner Gingell is absent with notice. Commissioner Hoffman. Present. Commissioner Johnson.
Present.
Commissioner Joliet.
Here.
Commissioner Long.
Here.
Commissioner Lubes.
Here.
Commissioner Markham.
Here.
Commissioner Miller is absent with notice. Commissioner Nelson.
Here.
Commissioner Powell.
Here.
Commissioner Rahman is absent with notice, as is Commissioner Smith Charles. Commissioner Spiz.
Present.
Commissioner Taylor.
Here.
Commissioner Weipert.
I'm here.
Commissioner Woodward.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Move us into the invocation this evening. That invocation will be brought to us by the Honorable Bob Hoffman, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you, Chairman Woodward. I dedicate this today to all my friends on both sides of the aisle, all the staff, and all of our families and friends. I said a prayer for you today, and I know he must have heard. I felt the answer in my heart, although he spoke not a word. I didn't ask for wealth or fame. I knew you wouldn't mind. I asked him to send treasures of a far, more lasting kind. I asked that he be near you at the start of each new day, to grant you health and blessings and friends to share your way. I asked for happiness for you in all things great and small, but it was for his loving care I pray most of all. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman, for words that we should remember always. Next up, we got approval of the minutes from our April 11th meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes? Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Long. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that the minutes were approved unanimously. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? I know that there's a request to move an item to the regular agenda that's been already captured, so move to approve the agenda as presented. Commissioner Lubes moves it, seconded by Commissioner Spiz. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. Let the record reflect that the agenda has been approved unanimously as well. We've got a couple presentations, a proclamation and a presentation this evening. First up, I will recognize Vice Chair Gershenson to present a proclamation honoring Chaldean American Month.
This is a great honor for me. One of my good friends we've been friends for over 20 years now, is going to be the representative of the Chaldean community, and anybody that wants to join me to celebrate Chaldean American Month. If you've never been to the new facility in Sterling Heights, it's unbelievable. I highly recommend it. And the amount of money that the Chaldean community puts into the state budget is astounding. I think it's a very, very impressive figure. So, whereas we are honored to recognize the heritage and contributions of Chaldean Americans who enrich our community through a thriving legacy of entrepreneurship, and Chaldeans are an ethnic group indigenous to Iraq, tracing their origins to the ancient region of Mesopotamia. Their Catholic Christian affiliation has resulted in frequent religious persecution in Iraq over the centuries, leading many Chaldeans to relocate around the world. Despite being widely dispersed throughout the world, Chaldeans place great value on adapting new societies while maintaining their faith, strong cultural roots, and family bonds. Anybody would like to continue?
Where did you leave off?
Right here.
Okay. The month of April holds great significance in Chaldean culture, with the culmination of Akitu, the Assyrian-Babylonian New Year, celebrated spring, rebirth, and renewal on April 1st. The Chaldean Catholic Church commemorates all martyrs and confessors' day during April, as well as the anniversary of Sappho, a genocide that claimed the lives of 1 million Chaldeans, Assyrians, and Armenians in 1915. It's a very sad time, 109 years ago.
Sure. Where did you have it?
Oh, sorry.
Whereas the first significant Chaldean immigration to Detroit began in the 1920s, with families searching for religious and political freedom and attracted to the economic opportunities available in the growing automotive industry. Now, according to the Chaldean Community Foundation, the largest Chaldean American population resides in Michigan, with more than 187,000 Chaldeans residing in southeast Michigan, primarily in Oakland and Macomb counties. While Chaldean Americans are involved in a variety of business endeavors, with nearly 60% of Chaldean households owning a business, they are especially proud of the community impact made by their small food markets and related organizations. And
Where are we? Whereas during the Chaldean American Month, we join with the Chaldean American Chamber of Commerce, which I'm a member, by the way, members of the Chaldean American community and all of Oakland County to celebrate the significant contributions made to our society and economy by the work and culture of Chaldean Americans. Now, therefore, David T. Woodward, Chair of the Oakland County Board of Commissioners, Vice Chairman Marcia Gershenson, and the entire Oakland County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim April 2024 as Chaldean American Month.
And we're honored to have Sharkey Haddad as a representative of the chamber. And would you please say a few words?
Sure. On behalf of the Chaldean Chamber of Commerce, the Chaldean American Community Foundation, I would like to thank the board for this beautiful proclamation. And I would like to also remind everyone that we live in one of the greatest counties, not just in Michigan, but the United States of America. Take it from someone who lived in 3 different countries throughout the Middle East. And this did not happen by accident. This happens because of the great work and public service of members of the board that you see in front of you, as well as the rest of the public servants in the state of Michigan. On behalf of the Chaldean community, I thank you for what you do and what you continue to do, and God bless you and God bless us all. Thank you very much.
I like going behind someone. You come around. Yeah, tall, don't tell it. This is what we have to do. We stand on the tiptoes. We never get in.
I know.
So it's just here this much. Oh, yeah, we don't want to hand sanitize. Okay, we've got a good in here. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. All right, we're in that.
It was a good window.
Yep.
Good to see you, Chris. Good to see you. Thank you.
Good work.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharkey. Send best wishes to the rest of the team at the Chaldean Foundation and Chamber of Commerce. Next up, we have a presentation. This is an incredible opportunity to get an update on what I would argue one of the best probate courts in all of Michigan. We have Judge Hallmark here to not only just to give an update about what the court is doing, but the impact the court is having on the lives of so many people. So, Judge Linda Hallmark, welcome. Thank you for coming and joining us this evening.
Thank you, Dave. And thanks to all of you. I know you have a very busy agenda, and it's very kind of you to give us some time. I'm in the way of all the equipment here, excuse me. It's very kind of you to give us some time this evening to address you and to just give you a little bit of background information for those of you who are not so familiar with the probate court. I wanted to also congratulate the Chaldean community on the proclamation. I had the honor for many years of serving as a board member of the Arab American Chaldean Council, so I know what a great community that is. And my wonderful colleague, Yasmin Poles, is from that community, so she's a good representative on our court. So our probate court, we have two courts in Oakland County, for those who might not be familiar, the probate and the circuit court. And I am chief judge of the probate court. We have 4 judges on our court, and one of my great colleagues, Judge Jennifer Callahan, is here with me. Judge Callahan is actually going to succeed me as chief judge next year. I'll be retiring at the end of the year, and our court will be in great hands with Judge Callahan. And our other 2 judges, Judge Dan O'Brien and Judge Kathleen Ryan, also serve the court. So probate, we kind of do just what you would think of as probate. We do wills, estates, trusts, guardianships, conservatorships for both minors and adults, developmentally disabled cases, and mental health proceedings. We are a very busy court, and Ed's going to actually give you some numbers. Ed Hutton, let me introduce, is our court administrator. One of the smartest things we do in probate court is we hire outstanding staff, and certainly Ed is amongst those that we have hired, and we're just so pleased that he's with us and contributes so much to our court. Our probate register is Barb Andrucci. Barb also oversees our frontline staff, a great resource if you have questions. She kind of knows all the answers, so first line of defense is go to Barb. And in the packet we have given you, we talk a little bit about the numbers of cases. In 2023, we had 10,512 active guardianship and conservatorship cases, 818 wills, 5,556 active estate and trust cases, and the 4 of us disposed of 7,268 cases. So it's a very, very busy docket. And it's also a time-sensitive docket because we are dealing with people sometimes perhaps sitting in a mental hospital and they need immediate attention as to whether they should remain hospitalized or not. We deal with cases perhaps of elder abuse. So, you know, if someone's exploiting grandma, they can't wait months and months and months to get a hearing. We need to bring those cases in and get some action and address those kinds of issues. We touch a lot of people in the county. Maybe some of you have come to us, but if there's a decedent's estate, if you have a family member or a friend with a mental health issue, a guardianship, because our population in Oakland County is aging, we're seeing more and more requests for guardians and conservators. We get Phil Weipert coming in sometimes to represent folks, and always glad to see him, by the way. But we are a busy court. We're getting busier because, as I said, our population is aging, and so there's a little more pressure on us to dispose of cases efficiently and quickly. We do have a great staff. We're very blessed. COVID kind of set us back and moved us forward. We were up and running probably within 2 weeks after the shutdown in 2020. We had to address our cases because, again, many of them are very time sensitive. And thanks to all of you, we had the resources to set up the technology. So we started doing remote hearings. And as we have transitioned out of, I hope we're out of COVID, as we've transitioned forward, we now have kind of a combination of both remote and in-person hearings. We discovered by using the technology that in many instances it makes a lot of sense. If if it's a pretty short hearing, a pro forma kind of thing, a status conference, adjournment, something like that, we can do those remotely, and it just makes more sense than bringing everybody into court and perhaps having them sit around for a morning. So we have been able to incorporate the technology. I think we have moved forward really well in that regard. And I'm going to turn it over to Ed to talk a little bit more about some of our hard numbers and what else is happening in our court.
Thank you, Judge. And not to put you on the spot, Judge Callahan, if you want to say anything, I just want to give you an opportunity. Okay, once I get going, I'm hard to stop. So I just wanted to, now would be the time. Okay, I am going to give some much deserved credit right now to Judge Hallmark. And Judge Hallmark, please don't fire me for doing this, but Judge Hallmark, I don't know if any of you are aware, for those of you that don't know, Judge Hallmark's going to be retiring at the end of this year. As she mentioned, she's going to be replaced as Chief Judge by Judge Callahan. So Judge Hallmark started in 1980 as a juvenile referee. In 1997, she took the bench as a judge. And not only was she a probate judge, but she was also a circuit court family judge. So not only did she have to have all of the requisite knowledge to be a probate judge, she had to be a family judge all at the same time from day one, which is absolutely astounding that she could do that. In 2000, that was the first of her appointments to become the chief judge of the probate, which that's only 3 years after she took the bench. So that screams to me that she had all the respect of her colleagues and of the Michigan Supreme Court. So that is quite an accomplishment. And her accomplishments, I was going to go over them, and there are some on just a fraction of them on this, but there were so many I would have taken up all of the time, and I couldn't have gone all over. But it is a long and impressive list of awards and accomplishments. But she has taught me since I've started working here, and she has taught me to slow down. She's taught me to be patient when I need to. She's taught me some different perspectives to some situations that come up often. And she's given me some very good insight into certain circumstances, which have not only helped me to become a better administrator, but she's helped me to become a better person. So Judge Hallmark, congratulations on your very impressive career that's of course not over yet, but the end is in sight, and just an impressive career, and just thank you for helping me and teaching me. So, and Judge Hallmark went over this slide, and then in preparing for this, I was going over all the numbers and all of the graphs, and here's one right here, and I had all of these slides, and I was prepared to come up here with the clicker, and I was going to click all the clicks and show you guys all the numbers, but something just didn't feel like I was sending the message that I wanted to send, but I had all the information, so why wasn't it lining up for me? And I realized that the probate court doesn't help numbers. We don't help statistics. We don't help dollar signs or percentage signs. We help people. We help families. We help the people that need it the most. That's the people that we help. And that wasn't showing up in my presentation. And once I realized that, I knew how to put it all together again. I was a probate attorney in private practice prior to becoming the court administrator. And most of my business model consisted primarily of taking court-appointed cases for the probate court and focused mainly on guardianships and conservatorship cases. Now I spend most of my time sitting in an office here, but I still have that perspective and that experience that I gained as a probate attorney. I have years of firsthand experience meeting with individuals the probate court protects. I met them in their homes. I met them in alleys. I met them in shelters. I met them in hospitals and nursing homes. So often productivity gets boiled down to numbers, statistics, and percentages, but remembering that those numbers represent people is imperative. In the case of the probate court, many of those numbers and statistics represent the very most vulnerable members of our society. They represent the statistics and the individuals or couples. They represent elderly individuals or couples that want to stay together in their home. They represent individuals that with developmental disabilities that may be well into adulthood but have the mental acuity of an adolescent. They represent the mentally ill that do and say things that scare most of the population, but they cannot help it because they were unfairly dealt a cruel fate that most of society would rather hide from than do what it takes to fix. I say this not to discount the numbers. They're important. The courts are the best window available into what is happening into our societies. Those numbers enable us to see what's happening, help us predict trends, and hopefully be prepared for the future. But please keep in mind that these numbers are more than numbers. They're more than percentage symbols and dollar signs. They're people. They're our parents. They're our grandparents. They're our friends, our families, and our neighbors. And that's the people that the probate court helps. So with that, we have the court is really focused on being more efficient with what we have and the personnel and the equipment that we have. We're using technology to increase our efficiency. We're working on a program right now that is about to be implemented where our document management system is going to sync with the state TCS system. It's going to increase the speed at which our files become available electronically and take some of the burden off of our staff and help our judges with the documents that they need. Our mental health cases are on the rise. This has been a steady increase. Hopefully this is that some of the stigma with mental health is going away and that people are more comfortable coming forward and getting the help that they need. But either way, it's more cases for the court. Our estates are going up, and this is just a sign of the aging demographics, the baby boomers, more estates result from that. Budgetary needs, I don't want to get too far into this, but defense and guardian ad litem fees, the individuals that come before our court, they have rights to be represented, they have rights to have an advocate fight for them. So that's where our defense and GALs come in and fill that role. Guardian review fees, we have every couple of years, every guardianship needs to be reviewed, and we pay those individuals that do that. They don't have to be attorneys, but that is a fee that is our budget is currently falling short on. Technology upgrades, we have a technology upgrade coming up with our JAVS recording system in all of our courtrooms. It is at end of life phase, so we don't have an option. We have to upgrade that. So there's going to be a cost with that. As our cases increase, the burden on our 4 judges also increases. We're not to the point where we need another judge just yet, but our need for a visiting judge is increasing all the time, and we are asking for extra funding in our line item. I think about $21,000, if my memory serves. The cost of a new judge, we've ran those numbers. It's about $500,000 for the staff and the space and the equipment. So we're not asking for that or anything near that. Postage is up. That's just a sign of relying on virtual hearings more. People aren't in the court to get their documents, so we mail them out, and our postage has kind of skyrocketed because of that. On the horizon, increased caseload and complexity could lead to a need for no new judge, as I just mentioned. We're definitely not there yet, but I mean, everything is going in that direction. Increase in court data security. We're doing our best to right now divide our documents are housed, my understanding, and I'm not the best expert on this stuff, but at IT with a lot of other information, and we're doing our best to separate those right now so we can safeguard those. There's special rules that apply to court data, so we're doing that. We're working with the IT department. E-filing, we are pushing for this. We have to get approval from the state, but as soon as we get it, we are absolutely willing to get that ball rolling and implement that in our court. That should provide some efficiencies for us that we don't have right now and open some doors that currently aren't open to us. digitize records, migrate files to allow expanding storage needs. Right now, we have paper files and we have storage rooms that are enormous. We have 4 of them. 3 of them are in the basement of the court, and it is incredibly inefficient to send somebody down there to retrieve a file just so somebody can look at it for 5 minutes and send it all the way back down, or if a judge needs it. It's really a big burden on the court, so we're working on digitizing files so we can get away from that. And I won't go too far into this, but there are some House bills. The numbers are there. Right now, these are just as proposed, but they would, you can see, adopt clear limits on guardianships and conservatorships, develop new standards. I won't read them all, but these will impact the court if they are passed. So it is something that is out there. They're in the House. They haven't been passed yet, but it is something that would have a huge effect on our court. I just want to invite all of you to feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, any concerns, anything that you need from the probate court. Reach out to myself. Any of the judges will be happy to help you.
Yes, and if anybody would like to come visit us, you're more than welcome. Just let one of us know, and we'll give you the whole tour. So thank you again for your time, and have a great night.
Thank you.
Chief Judge Hallmark, thank you for your leadership on all these years. A deserved retirement, but your imprint on our probate court has been immense, and it's been a pleasure to work with you. And we're not to retirement yet, so we're not going to get into all of it, but you have put together a great team, and thank you for all this information. This wasn't a budget hearing, but I hear it becoming one. All right, thank you, Judge. All right, where am I? This will move us. I think that's all the presentations this evening. So this is going to move us. We have a few communications, and so, Mr. Clerk, will you please read the communications?
Mr. Chair, there are 6 communications. The first is dated April 25th to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Commissioners, I am hereby appointing the following individuals to serve on the Oakland County Art Institute Authority for a 2-year term ending May 31st, 2026, or until a qualified successor is appointed. The appointees are Jennifer Miller, Dr. Swarn Rajpal, and Shelley Taub. Your confirmation of these appointments is respectfully requested. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. The second is dated April 24th, 2024. Regarding the reappointment of the Oakland County Art Institute Authority. Dear Chairman Woodward, please be advised that acting pursuant to Miscellaneous Resolution 12083, I hereby reappoint Barbara Whitaker to the Board of Directors of the Oakland County Art Institute Authority. This reappointment shall become effective immediately and shall continue until May 1st, 2028, or until a successor is appointed and qualified, unless Ms. Whitaker is terminated earlier as provided in the Articles of Incorporation. Ms. Whitaker shall take and subscribe the required oath of office prior to commencing the performance of her duties pursuant to this appointment. Very truly yours, David Coulter, Oakland County Executive. Dated April 25th, 2024, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Commissioners, I am hereby appointing the following individuals to serve on the Oakland County Zoological Authority for a 1-year term ending May 1st, 2025, or until a qualified successor is appointed. The appointees are Alex Cooper, Millie Hall, Brandon Colo, and the alternates are Tamika Ramsey, Helene Zach, and Robert Coleman. Your confirmation of these appointments is respectfully requested. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Dated April 24th, regarding the appointment to the Oakland County Zoo Authority. Dear Chairman Woodward, pursuant to Public Act 49 of 2008, I am pleased to appoint Ms. Jennifer M. Greco and Ms. Elizabeth Howe as my representatives, and Ms. Gretchen Parks as alternate to Ms. Greco, and Mr. Richard Strenger as alternate to Ms. Howe on the Oakland County Zoological Authority Board. These appointments are effective immediately and shall continue until May 1st, 2026, or until a successor is appointed and qualified. Appointees shall take and subscribe the required oath of office prior to commencing the performance of their duties pursuant to these appointments. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, David Coulter, Oakland County Executive. Dated April 24th, 2024, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please accept this letter as notification that I have exercised the authority granted to the chair of the board to approve grant applications in excess of $50,000 for the purposes of meeting a submission deadline. Due to the grantor deadlines and the board's grant submission process and calendar, it is not possible to submit the application for full board consideration in accordance with our normal procedures. I have authorized the submission of the following grant applications. The Michigan Department of Natural Resources Off-Road Vehicle Trail Improvement Fund to the Parks and Rec Department in the amount of $297,000. The grant application deadline is May 1st, 2024. The Sustain Our Great Lakes Program grant, again to the Department of Parks and Recreation in the amount of $300,000. The grant application deadline, which was April 18th, 2024. And the fiscal year 24 Child Parent Legal Representation grant to the Circuit Court in the amount of $175,000. This grant application deadline was April 26, 2024. Sincerely, David T. Woodward, Chair, Oakland County Board of Commissioners. And finally, dated April 24th, 2024, to the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Please be advised that I hereby appoint Mr. Michael B. Andrews to the position of Chief of Staff for the Oakland County Board of Commissioners. Over the course of his time here with the Board of Commissioners, Mr. Andrews has demonstrated his commitment to public service and collaboration with various government and business leaders to enhance the initiatives of the Oakland County and the board. I respectfully request confirmation of the appointment of Michael Andrews as our Oakland County Board of Commissioners Chief of Staff. Respectfully, David T. Woodward, Chairman, Oakland County Board of Commissioners.
That was for the last one, I'm sure. Thank you, Michael. You're here. That's for all of them, but particularly someone that we've all had a privilege to work for and look forward to continuing working with Mr. Andrews as the Chief of Staff capacity. Just for record, with the exception of former Commissioner Taub filling the the position made vacant by a resignation, all the others are reappointments. And for those who serve on the respective policy committees, for the grant exceptions, all the detailed information will be in the packets going forward. So can I get a motion to receive and file the communications? Moved by Commissioner Taylor, seconded by Commissioner Wiper. Any discussion? See none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say nay. I'll let the record reflect that the communications have been adopted unanimously, or approved unanimously. This will bring us to the first public comment. Our Board of Commissioners have two public comments. The first public comment is to speak on any item on the agenda, on any item that will be taken up in the course of this business meeting. No one signed up, but if there are any people here who are interested in speaking during the first public comment, please do so. There is a second public comment at the end of following any actions of the agenda items. Anybody? Okay, no one for the first public comment. We'll do the same routine at the end of the meeting for any other topic. So I will close the first public comment and they'll bring us to reports of standing committees. The first item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And is there a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Commissioner Powell, second by Commissioner Hoffman. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Nelson votes yes. Commissioner Lubes?
Yes.
Commissioner Lubes votes yes. Commissioner Spiz?
Yes.
Commissioner Spiz votes yes. Commissioner Woodward?
Yes.
Votes yes.
I'm in the wrong meeting.
Commissioner Powell? Mr. Chair, there are 15 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The consent agenda is adopted. Just 1 second.
You just have to click this blue button. Here.
Oh.
You click that blue button, it'll take you right there.
Oh, perfect. Okay. There we go. All right. The consent agenda adopted, so it'll bring us to the regular agenda. The first committee to bring items is Economic Development Infrastructure Committee, and standing in for the chair, Yolanda Smith-Charles, is Commissioner Brendan Johnson. So, Commissioner Brendan Johnson, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, on the report of the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee, I have 2 items on the regular agenda today. Item A is the regarding the Pontiac redevelopment project. It's an architect, engineering, and urban planning services for renovations to both of the Ottawa Towers. Mr. Chair, I move that item.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Powell. Any discussion? Commissioner Spitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just on these 2 items, I know we're only talking one, but the second one will be similar. I will continue to vote no against these until at the time that I am able to see a business case for the entire project with a more detailed plan. So at this point, I'll be voting no on these 2 items. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Anyone want to speak to why this project's important? Well, I will. Well, and with all due respect to my colleague, I believe that, this body has discussed and talked about this project in a whole from the point in which we authorized administration to go into negotiation to purchase the property, the vision for what this project does, the commitment to move, to be part of the revitalization of the one downtown that has been, in some cases, like I would argue, left behind, the economic development of our downtowns everywhere, and bringing 500 and more employees down to downtown Pontiac, to repurpose property that is obsolete and vacant, and to bring community gathering space. And that's what this project does, and I support it 100%. And I'm glad to see this is, we've already begun the process. We've accepted the money from the state to help with this project. And we're committed to seeing this through its entirety. And this is the appropriate thing to bring architects and engineers and urban planning services to engage with the local community, and not to jump ahead, but also engage in a community engagement process to work with our residents in the city of Pontiac so that this is as collaborative a process as possible. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Long?
No.
Commissioner Powell? Mr. Chair, there are 10 yeas, 5 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Moving on to item B. It is also related to the Pontiac redevelopment project. It's an A&E contract resolution for community engagement services for renovations to both the Ottawa Towers. Mr. Chair, I move that resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Powell. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, I think we handled that all in the last one. Mr. Clerk, will you please prompt the vote?
Mr. Chair, there are 10 yeas, 5 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. That concludes the report of the Economic Development and Infrastructure Committee.
Thank you very much. Next up, we have Finance Committee, and I will call on the chair of the committee, Commissioner Gwen Markham, to present the items.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have 2 items tonight from the Finance Committee. Excuse me. The first is the appointment of the Deputy Chief Financial Officer, Cheryl Johnson.
Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Lubes. Any discussion?
I'd just like to say we've spent a lot of time working with Ms. Johnson over the last year, and she's really helped all of us on the Finance Committee and the board stay on track through all of this. So I want to thank her for her service and congratulate her on this appointment.
Thank you, Commissioner Markham. Commissioner Powell.
I also want to say thank you, Cheryl, for everything, and I'm so happy you got appointed for this position.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cavell.
Since everyone else did, Cheryl.
Thank you. Commissioner Cavell. No, go ahead. And I will just add that, I have enjoyed the opportunity to work with Cheryl. I think brings an expertise that has allowed this body to provide the fiscal oversight responsibility that we're responsible for, and to do so in such a collaborative effort. Thank you very much, and looking forward to voting for the confirmation of this appointment. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Spiz?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, there are 15 yeas, 0 nays.
A sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The appointment is confirmed. Now, I think there's a budget you need to be prepping. Thank you, Cheryl. Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next item I have for today is item 15B, the sponsorship of the 2024 International and U.S. Open National Bocce Tournaments.
Moved by Commissioner Markham, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion? Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will not be supporting the sponsorship this evening. It's very similar to the comments I made last year during the $20,000. Now this is $40,000. This is a total of $60,000 coming out of the Board of Commissioners Special Projects Fund, and I truly do believe that a dollar amount this large for sponsorships, especially given the bulk of the resolution stresses the importance of the economic development opportunities this brings. I love the fact that it brings economic development opportunities. I love the fact that this board can provide sponsorships for events across our communities. I just think at this point, $60,000, $40,000 tonight is just too much. And I will continue to say that I'm looking forward to working together and coming up with more objective criteria for us to move forward in regards to how we determine and how much money for sponsorships across our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further comments? Commissioner Powell.
I was going to say that I am voting in support of this event, and just to let our community know that there are ongoing discussions for Commissioner Nelson's concerns, so that we can make let's just say we're focused on doing a little better in this space in regards to sponsorship requests and things like that. So just stay tuned. Discussions are on their way and are in motion right now. So thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Any further? Commissioner Cavell.
I just wanted to say that in committee I voted for this and will be supporting it, not because I like bocce ball. I don't. But the point of this, though, these funds and this project and this programming is not for us to pass judgment on each of our individual districts or communities' desires. It's for us to be of service to our community. So bocce ball isn't my thing, but something else is. So that's the point of this program from my understanding.
Thank you, Commissioner. Any further? Commissioner Spitz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be supporting this resolution, and I believe it's a great event for the Lake Orion area and those surrounding communities, and it brings in international people to the community. But I will also say that I can agree with Commissioner Nelson and Commissioner Powell, and I'm glad to hear things are going to be done to help streamline this process going forward.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Spitz. I'll just add to it. I agree with Commissioner Spitz. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, there are 14 yeas, 1 nay.
A sufficient number voted in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Markham.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That concludes the report of the Finance Committee tonight.
Thank you very much. Next up will be Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee report. And the chair of that committee, Commissioner Brenda Johnson, will bring the item forward. Get you a bench.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, on the report of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee, there is one item, a resolution in support of Michigan Legislative Senate Bills 401 through 404, the Michigan Voting Rights Act. Mr. Chair, I move this resolution.
Moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by Commissioner Ann Erickson Galt. Any discussion? Commissioner Spiz.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will not be supporting this resolution. I think there's some good aspects of these Senate bills, but there's some really poor aspects of it too. I think they need to have a lot more discussion, a lot more thought. So at this time, I cannot support them.
Thank you, Commissioner Spiz. Commissioner Joliet.
I also echo Commissioner's thoughts, but I also want to give props to Commissioner Johnson for presenting this in committee in a very
Thank you very much, my colleague. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Nelson.
Get some clarification. Amendment 1.
No, that's the
That's
next
the next
one.
item.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any further discussion on Board of Commissioners support for the Michigan Voting Rights Act? Other than talking about the importance of enshrining protections for voting rights, I think it speaks for itself. Seeing no further discussion, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Oh, mine's just done today, but yeah.
Commissioner Markham?
I voted yes by accident.
Commissioner Gershenson?
Yes.
I need to flip my vote. I voted incorrectly.
Oh, wait. I think Mr. Spiz pushed the wrong button. So, Commissioner Spiz, how do you vote?
No.
Commissioner Spiz votes no. I mean, not that he didn't point it out earlier.
It's very kind of you to notice that.
Mr. Chair, there are 10 yeas, 5 nays.
Good? Yep. Okay. Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution is adopted. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. That concludes the report of the Legislative Affairs and Government Operations Committee.
Thank you very much. Next up is Public Health and Safety, and the chair of that committee, Commissioner Penny Lubes, will present the one item that's on the regular agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. There is one item under Public Health and Safety. It's a resolution in motion to approve a one-time allotment not to exceed $7,000 from the fiscal year 2024 regranting program to create a billboard as a public awareness campaign about the importance of gun-safe storage.
Moved by Commissioner Lubes, seconded by Commissioner Gershenson. And I believe we have an amendment. Commissioner Spiz moves amendment number 1, seconded by Commissioner Joliet. Commissioner Spiz, would I speak to your amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In general, I support the concept of education for gun safety around the county, but I'd like to add some additional verbiage to the motion. And I'd like to add, and it should be in all your packets, that further, no name, image, or likeness of any elected official can be used in an election year.
Wait, say that again?
No.
That's different than what's here.
Yeah, I added the last part based on the
Okay,
conversation
just say
with
it
Commissioner Gershenson, that no name, image, or likeness of an elected official can be used in an election year.
On the billboard?
He's saying in election year. So I think we're gonna have some discussion. So if staff could do me a favor and make that modification. So before we vote.
Do you refresh?
Oh, it's already been updated. Look at that. Okay. So as Commissioner Spiz wrote it, Okay, is this a clarifying question on the amendment or to speak to the amendment?
Both, maybe?
Okay, all right.
Maybe
Okay,
both.
so I had Commissioner Gershison's hand up first, and then I will do Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Gershenson.
So when I went over to the Republican caucus to see what the issue was, I believe Commissioner Spiz said to me that it shouldn't be a campaign, publicity for a candidate, which I do agree with. However, every year is an election year for somebody. So if you're referring to the Board of Commissioners, then we could add in 2024, because that would give us 4 years.
So, hold on, we'll come back. Commissioner Smith, I'll come back to you. Okay, Commissioner Johnson.
That's exactly what I was going to say, so I withdraw.
Okay, there we go.
And you want to say something about it?
Oh, I have a lot of things to say. Any other discussion? I'm going to come back to Commissioner Spiz before I make some
Thank you,
comments.
Mr. Chair. I mean, maybe I misunderstood also, but this is also for just 2024 anyway? Is that correct? The $7,000 allocation for this? That we'd have to issue another resolution on top of
Well,
that if
that's
we do it
true.
again? I'm okay with adding just 2024 versus just an election year. I'm okay with that because that would cover this for this year. That's my big concern, is that this is an election year, and I hate to see this used as a campaign tool for some candidates, including current elected officials.
So, staff, he's already typing away. He's going to keep adding words as you add to them. And so I'm going to keep discussion, and then I have some comments.
It is on the amendment, thank you.
Already?
Commissioner Spiz, I'm just thinking, you know how they have the commercials when it says like the Wayne County Board of Commissioners sponsor this program? So you don't want it to say anything about Oakland County Board of Commissioners, because that's not really campaigning. This is a project of the Board of Commissioners. So I just want to know, do you not want 19 pictures of commissioners up there? I'm not saying it would be 19 pictures, but I'm saying Board of Commissioners sponsored. Can they not put that? I just want to clarify, because you see those commercials.
This might help.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be I understand what the intent is. I'm opposed to this amendment for a couple of reasons. First, it is against the law to use public resources to campaign. Two, every one of our contracts goes through Corporation Counsel to ensure that we are in 100% compliance of the law. Three, as a board, we've just produced an annual report that has all of your pictures on it that we're distributing in our local communities, which seems in conflict with exactly what you're talking about. But it's an annual report, and we do it every year. The last point is that I think, based on all of those things, never in the history of my time here on the board was there a single comment objecting to our Lake County executive being on everything. And coincidentally, now that this question's being brought up now. At the end of the day, this whole item is supposed to help with an education campaign for a new law that's being put in place. And I think the merits of that is important. And any use of these funds would have to be done in accordance with federal, state, and our county policies and practices historically. So for that reason, I'm against it. And I think to Commissioner Long's point that what can we put up there in the whether it's a Oakland County Commissioners does this. This is not a campaign ad, so it doesn't require a disclaimer. And frankly, as I understand it, this would be in partnership with a education campaign that's already underway around the state, at least in the region. So for that reason, I will be voting no on this amendment. Commissioner Gershenson for a second time, and then Commissioner Spiz.
So we will be partnering with End Gun Violence Michigan, and their billboard is already up on I-94, and basically it says if you own a gun, if you have kids and you own a gun, lock it up. It's the law. I've seen it. We're going to be doing the same one. There is no picture, but Chris, to your point, there might be, I haven't checked that much, but I mean, if there's a place where we would be giving credit to a sponsor, I would have to to go with that. But there's not going to be any pictures of me.
Yeah.
Any further, Commissioner Cavell, followed by Commissioner Nelson.
Perhaps this is belaboring the point, but Mike or Commissioner Spiz, I don't know if I heard like the spirit of why you're doing this. I understand the words and what Chair Woodward said. Is it okay to hear like the intent? Just in
I will
plain
come back to
English?
Commissioner Spiz after all commissioners have spoken at least the first time. Commissioner Nelson.
Thank you.
All right. Back to Commissioner Spiz already.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The intent is, I want the advertisement to be the advertisement, the education part. I don't need, or don't want, I should say, to have it taken away from that to use it as, I'm going to call it a campaign type of thing during an election year. And to Commissioner Long's point, supported by the Board of Commissioners, to me, that's not a campaign thing. That's all of us. If we as a Board of Commissioners support it, which we'll do by approving this, if it gets approved, yes, but I don't need to have specific commissioners just showing up there by themselves for whatever reason, is what I'm looking to hopefully not allow to happen.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Again, I'm just going to underwrite, it is illegal to use public funds to campaign. So it is not a necessary amendment, and whatever expense in the contract with any vendor to do this education campaign has to be full compliance with the law. So, Commissioner Nelson, for a second time.
First time.
Oh, well, right, I'm sorry.
Is it similar to, I'm trying to wrap my head around it and hearing the stories. Obviously, I can hear the things that you're saying. I mean, that's kind of typical language that I know when we did the medical marijuana grant. Kind of the same thing, but kind of not. But we got a preview. Will there be any preview coming before us as the board to approve the billboards, much like the medical marijuana grant billboards?
It's my understanding that the Safer Community Fund has discussed this, and any action moving forward would be working with the same committee that.
So would it go through
the Safer Community Committee.
For approval prior?
No, it was not.
Yeah, well, the recommendation came here to allocate the funds. I mean, that committee continues to exist, and so, I mean, any further discussion that's warranted, that's the appropriate body to deliberate.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Okay, any further Commissioner Cavell, or another time?
So just, do you want to withdraw your amendment? Does it feel, okay.
All right. Seeing no further conversation, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
So wait.
Commissioner Lubes?
No, on the amendment, right?
Right.
Oh.
Commissioner Powell? No. Commissioner Cavell? No. Commissioner Johnson?
No.
Commissioner Erickson Gall?
No.
Commissioner Taylor?
No.
Mr. Chair, there were 6 yeas, 9 nays.
A sufficient number not voting in the affirmative, the amendment fails. That brings us back to the main motion. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Spiz?
Yes.
Commissioner Long?
Yes.
Commissioner Markham? Yes. Commissioner Powell? Yes. Commissioner Cavell?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, there are 15 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The resolution, the motion is passed. Commissioner Lubes.
There's no further business from the Public Health and Safety Committee, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That will bring us to new and miscellaneous business. And first up is a resolution which we don't have a sponsor on it. I mean, you can put my name. I mean, how about moved by Commissioner Johnson, seconded by myself. Commissioner Johnson, I mean, can you speak to this resolution? The reason why this resolution asking for consideration right now, I think Commissioner Johnson can speak to that.
Yeah, I mean, so it's a very exciting day. The House actually had its Transportation Appropriations Subcommittee meeting today to talk about the budget. But basically, there's money that our local bus operators should be getting every year, and they don't. And there's a danger this year, especially because the governor's recommendation does not seem to respect the need for this money for our local bus operators as much as I think that it should be respected. So this resolution is urging the legislature to, in its duly elected authority to craft the state's annual budget, to include that local bus operating money.
Thank you very much. And I would just add to it for those on the public transit subcommittee have talked about this at great length. Basically, the local bus operating fund matches. I mean, it's granted under Act 51, grants a certain amount of money to match local bus operating costs. For our area, our local transit agencies, including SMART, get a 30-cent match for every dollar of operating costs. And so when the pot gets smaller, there's less of those matching dollars able to pay for drivers and the operations for public transit in our area. As a result of the countywide millage, Oakland County's been able to draw down a lot more of those resources to actually improve transit all across the county. And the recommended budget is a decrease. Granted, the last budget was an infusion of some federal resources, but we need to be pushing further to ensure that these funds are available to support local public transit agencies, not just here in Oakland County, but across the state of Michigan. Why this is important to bring up now, as Commissioner Johnson mentioned, the target goal to address and pass the state budget is coming up quickly, and we need to be able to activate our lobbyists to support it. So that's why asking for consideration right now. Okay. Any further discussion? See none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote. It's the motion to take up, to vote for the resolution right now. No, on the resolution itself. So we've had this conversation before. Like our rule, allow for an item be brought forward here. I guess it will be a similar vote. So yes, the vote right now is yay or nay on the resolution. Oops.
Commissioner Woodward.
Yes.
Commissioner Spiz.
Yes.
I need to vote too. Oh, here, mine came up now. Are you doing it again?
I think, yeah.
Mine came up, so should I vote?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
I refreshed, but I think all the ones came up.
Mr. Chair, there are 15 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient voting in the affirmative, the resolution is adopted. It moves to the next items, which I have to scroll down here. Who's the sponsor? Who's the sponsor of this? So I'm trying. So this next item is the appointments to the Tri-County Summit Behavioral Health Task Force, and so this is being done in conjunction with Wayne County and Macomb County. Like we have for other past efforts as we prepare for the Tri-County Summit later this year. two Oakland County representatives, and the recommendation that, I'm asking everyone to consider, and thankfully both have agreed to serve, is Commissioner Penny Lubes and Dana Lazenby of OCHN. So a motion, to confirm that appointment by Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Clerk, please prompt the vote.
Commissioner Lubes?
Yes.
Commissioner Hoffman? Yes. Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, there are 15 yeas, 0 nays.
Sufficient number voting in the affirmative. The appointment is confirmed. The appointments are confirmed. Thank you very much. Next up is a resolution for introduction. Commissioner Weipert.
This is a support for Milford 2024 Milford Memories Summer Festival.
Great. And referred to finance.
Finance.
Referred without objection. Commissioner Erickson Galt.
Thank you, Chair. This is a request to sponsor the 4th annual Madison Heights Citizens United annual Juneteenth Festival to be referred to finance.
And referred without objection. Any other items for introduction? See none. I'll bring us to announcements. Are there any announcements? Seeing none. Other than let's go Lions, let's go draft, let it work out for all of us. Next we'll bring up to our second public comment. This is an opportunity for any member of the public to comment on any item on any item under the sun. We just ask that you keep your comments to, I'm sorry, Commissioner Lubes. Did you have an announcement? I'm sorry.
Well, it's an announcement of sorts. How can we address our speaking system here, or our voting system? Because it happens in committee and it happens at the board meetings where half of us are able to vote and half have a voice vote, and then it alternates. So the system is non-discriminatory.
Commissioner White. Commissioner Weipert to.
At Economic Development Finance, IT came and sat through, Mr. Chair, sat through and watched how it's working, and they're working on it.
Okay, so that's one thing. I'll be honest, something for me, what happened is that I accidentally pushed a button and logged out. And even though I could see the screen, I wasn't logged in. So there's an element of human error, but to the extent there's a technology flaw, IT and also working and engaging civic clerk. And so I will ask our chief to, again, to prioritize this because it's incredibly frustrating for all of us. On the back end, however, I will say it has made the capture of the record in real time, and there's the efficiency of that end, but I understand the difficulties, so yes. Okay, so coming back to the public comment, this is the opportunity for members to speak on any topic. We just ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes, direct your comments to me, the chair, and we have a little clock up here that will assist you in staying on time. And so anyone who would, I don't think anyone signed up for the second comment, that's not required. Anyone who would like to speak during this public comment, please come up to the microphone right here at the midpoint of the auditorium. And if you could just give your name and community of resident for the record.
Hi, my name is Suzanne Melanie, and I live in Royal Oak. And I would like to say I really enjoyed the commendation of the Chaldean community and the comments by Mr. Haddad. Now, he said that we have a significant, there's no mistake that they decided to come to Oakland County. And that ought to make everybody here feel very, very proud. Also, another community that's in Oakland County, that's chosen Oakland County because of its all kinds of things, all kinds of reason, is the Jewish community. We have a huge Jewish community population and a huge Arab community population. You know what? Michigan is known as a diverse state with a lot of different communities. So how it would take till, I believe today, our governor to come out and condemn the hate speech that's been going on and being allowed in certain other counties where there are colleges that are allowing this kind of hate speech. And I'll tell you, freedom of speech is not hate speech, and hate speech is not freedom of speech. And what's being said, and I think you all know what was said, death to America, you know, death to Israel, these are things that should never be allowed in any civilized state and any civilized county. And I would think, since we want to commend certain organizations, certain groups of people, then we should also condemn this kind of hate speech being allowed in our state. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else that would like to address the Board of Commissioners this evening? See none. I will close the second public comment, and we will adjourn till May 22nd or call the chair. Good night.